Hello, and welcome back to the Oxford Cambridge Varsity 2022. Cambridge has just become crowned varsity champions after a convincing 3-1 victory in Overwatch. However, we still have two more games left to be played, with League of Legends coming up next, followed by Rocket League in the evening. However, before that, it's my pleasure to introduce Becky Wright from the NSC to come and give a quick talk about the esports industry. Becky is the Senior Partnership Manager for the NSC, which holds multiple university leagues for different universities across the UK to take part in student esports. I would like to invite Becky on the stage to give a quick talk. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. That was such a nice intro. Thanks. I don't think I've ever been intro to a panel before, so that was awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick talk about getting into esports and gaming as a career. I feel like this talk's been done quite a few times, so hopefully you can learn something new and hopefully I'll add something extra. When I decided I wanted to pursue a career in esports, I wasn't really sure how to get there. I think it's quite a daunting industry. There's so many roles available, there's so much you can do, and I think it's difficult to decide what you want to do and how to get there. So yeah, when I decided, I think it was 2016, I decided I wanted to go and work in esports. Actually, no, 2018. I'd already been working in industry for about 6 years as a graphic designer. I didn't want to do graphic design anymore. I'd worked in fields like advertising, automotive. Yeah, so I had really no gaming experience professionally. And also, I wanted to switch out of doing graphic design as well. So I was like, how on earth do you do that? So I'm kind of going to go through step by step what I did. Probably a lot of this is kind of obvious and self-explanatory, but the first thing that is key, you have to decide what role you want to go into or the kind of area you're looking at. So many students ask me about how I got in, and they say that they want to get into the esports industry, but they don't actually know what they want to do. So you have to think about what you're good at, what do you enjoy, maybe pull from past experience in jobs, volunteering roles, literally anything. What do you excel at? What are you good at? And how do you end up in a role where you can do more of that? So key to this, I think, is read job postings. Hitmarker's an amazing job in terms of esports listings. Just read through them, read the postings, see what's there. There's so many roles out there, whether it's esports specific or whether it's like general. If you're looking at going into marketing, there's lots of marketing roles. If you're looking into doing something like coaching, that's there too. There's like so many traditional jobs in esports and also esports specific ones. So once you've decided what role you want to go into, the next step, I think this is key, is get some experience in that role. There's many ways you can do this. You can do this also as a student or once you've graduated. You don't have to do it while you're a student. I decided to get into the esports industry after I'd graduated, many years after I'd graduated. So I think first up, if you want to get some experience at a LAN, there's two great LANs in the UK. You've got Epic LAN, which you can do volunteering at. You can do volunteering at Insomnia as well. Insomnia actually currently have their volunteer applications open for the one in August. There's many roles there, whether it's adminning to volunteering on help desks, stage management, broadcast. I even think there's so much. So definitely check out Insomnia and Epic LAN. The next time, I think the next thing you can do is volunteering your time to communities that you enjoy. I gained a lot of my esports experience just through volunteering my time. I'm a Dota obsessive. Also very upset you're not doing Dota here, but whatever, it's fine. I spent a long time just volunteering my time to communities I was interested in. I volunteered on a podcast, which I still do actually. I created a women's Dota 2 group back in 2016. And through that, you're kind of gaining experience in community management, social media, if you decide to go that way, running events, all that good stuff. That all counts. And that all counts as like experience under your belt. Internships, if you're lucky enough to get one, there's plenty of paid internships out there, sometimes unpaid. If you do go for an unpaid one, make sure though that you get out of it what it's like a two-way street, especially the unpaid ones. I think while yes, you're contributing to the company you're working for, you have to make sure you get what you want out of that experience as well. That also goes for the paid ones too, but it's key, especially for unpaid ones, that you're getting something out of it. We also do internships at NSE. We do them in the summer, the winter, and also the spring. So yeah, if you're keen, maybe check those out. There's plenty of part-time and freelance roles available as well, especially if you're looking at going into like tournament operations. Like we probably have a team of like, I think it's 8 to 10 students and graduates who help us out on our tournament nights. And those are paid roles as well. There's plenty of paid stuff out there. And also all the stuff you do in your society. It's like running this event is a perfect example of getting some experience under your belt. Like you've got tournament operation, you've got broadcasts, you've got social media, you've got all the comm stuff that goes along with that, event running. There's so much. So making your own opportunities is really key as well. You know, if you haven't seen a part-time role out there, a full-time internship, you can just make your own projects. Like this is a great example of that. And also all the other stuff you do for your societies. I think societies are a great way to learn how to like fail and learn in a safe place. You can try something you've never tried before, and the stakes aren't super high, so you can learn and fail in a nice kind of comfy space. Societies are great for that. And definitely if you are like part of your society and contribute to it and on committee, definitely put it on your CV. There are so many CVs that I've seen that I know for a fact that someone's done stuff for their society, but it's not actually on there. It definitely counts. We also have the Intel Future Gen program at NSE. I'm going to do some shameless plugs here. That opens in winter. That is for students, but we take 20 students each year who we think are going to be the potential future leaders in esports. They get access to industry buddies. We buddy everyone up depending on what they want to do. We try and buddy them up with someone relevant in the esports industry. They get online sessions, which actually are, those broadcasts, a lot of them are open to everyone, so you can watch them on Twitch. They get private sessions, Q&As, access to events like Esports Insider, and also the networks of all the previous cohorts as well, because a lot of them have gone on to working full-time in the esports industry. So you'll get access to them. But like I said, a lot of those broadcasts that we have talks from people within the industry, they're all on the NSC website. That's a good resource. So you can go to our Intel Future Gen Hub and watch any of the previous talks on there. And also a lot of the people we've had for talks are very much open to answering questions. You can send them a DM, send them an email if you have a question about something they do, and I'm sure that they'll reply to you. If you're looking more on the game dev side, we've got the Games Innovation Challenge that we run every year in January. If you're looking at going into games development more that side, game jams are a great way to do it, and that is what the Games Innovation Challenge is. Students have 9 weeks to create a game. There's a 5,000 prize pool sponsored by Barclays, so definitely check that out if you're interested in game development, but any game jam is great. And then, yeah, I mean, if you follow all those steps as well, like, well, not all of them. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to do, so maybe not all of them, but most of them, you'll just expand your network so much. I think the esports industry is small, especially in the UK, so who you know is really important. I think, like, you know, for example, one of our admins who's been admin with us for a while, I was recently approached by someone who I knew at ESL saying, I'm looking for an admin. Do you know someone? And I said, yeah, I do. And I passed on his information. And so you never know who might be, if you've left a good impression on someone, you never know who might go, actually, yeah, this person's great. I'll forward you on. And hopefully he's going to be working for ESL for a tournament, which is awesome. Yeah, but as I said, like, volunteering your time is amazing. Try and get some experience under your belt is key. Just be careful about overdoing it with unpaid stuff. Your time is valuable. Make sure you get what you want out of it at the end. So hopefully by this point, you've got lots of experience under your belt. Next up is actually to apply for the role. So job boards are key. Hitmarker, I've already plugged them once. They're great. We've actually just introduced a new channel in our Discord, which you can then send. It's like an announcement channel. You can subscribe to that and put it in your Discords if you wanted to. Those just show all opportunities that come across our paths, entry-level roles, and also internships. So definitely check that out. If you already know your dream company as well, I do think it's just worth applying. You never know what roles they might have. If you really impress them with your application, you might kind of stick in the back of their mind. And if they have a role that comes up for you, they could well get in contact with you. I think, yeah, it's definitely happened at NSE where we've had someone apply and then they weren't successful. And then we've gone back to them saying, hey, you should probably apply for this. We think you'd be perfect for it. Cover letters are painful. I think we can all agree on that. They're so annoying to write. Keep all of them. I think the thing about writing a new cover letter every time, and maybe this is the wrong thing to say, but it's unrealistic. I think you can definitely tailor your cover letter to the company, but nick bits out of old ones. When I was like fully applying for roles, I had for about 10 cover letters that I would just take stuff out from. You can tailor it that way without spending loads and loads of time, because it does take a while to write cover letters that are specific to that one company. So you can lift and chop and change things from previous ones. So definitely keep old cover letters. In terms of CVs, I think it's difficult. Sometimes it's a really good idea to have two. So when I was looking at getting into the esports and gaming industry, I was also looking at traditional roles as well, just because I didn't really like my job. So really wanted to leave. And at the time I was working in marketing. And so I had one CV which was tailored for esports and gaming and pulled a lot of my esports and gaming experience. And then the other one, which I knew that wouldn't really be that relevant for, I just had like a generic kind of marketing focused CV. So feel free to have as many CVs as you want, depending on the kind of roles you're applying for. And even if you don't think you've got enough experience for a role, apply for it anyway. Like, your job descriptions are written for like, that is the desired person they're looking for. If you're missing one or two things, I think that's fine. Quite often companies are looking for someone that fits well within the team, not necessarily that they tick every box. And you can always learn things on the job. Hopefully you're in a nice enough company that lets you do that. So that's all about applying. When it actually comes to the interviews themselves, read up on the company for sure. Like, there are so many people that I've interviewed, and not so much like people who have already been in the NSE community, but people outside of that. They'll apply for roles within NSE and actually not really know what we do. And you think it's obvious, but yeah, definitely read up on what the company does and what they do. Have a few questions prepped for the end. I love being thrown off by a good question in an interview. I recently had a intern interview where someone asked me, aside from, you know, the work experience they would get, and it is a paid role, like what other opportunities would they get access to? And that kind of threw me off. I was like, that is such a good question. We can do this and this and this. But yeah, I was impressed by that. And I think a good question will always impress. Things you can always ask, and I think is important to ask, is always ask about company culture. You can always ask that one, whatever job it is, and also what the person interviewing you likes about working there. I think it's very telling if someone interviewing you can't answer that, then maybe it's not the kind of company you want to go work for. And most importantly, relax. They want to know how you fit in with the team. If you kind of mess up on a few questions or don't necessarily know the answer to something, being relaxed and being personable is arguably just as important as like knowing things. If someone knew everything and they didn't think they were going to be a good fit for the team, then maybe they wouldn't get hired, versus someone who knew most of it, their knowledge fell short, but then they thought they would have that really great like team cohesion, especially important for small companies. And also, don't be discouraged by rejections. For our summer internship, we had well over 100 people apply. We ended up interviewing about 10 people. I would have taken all of those 10, honestly. Unfortunately, we only had one role, but yeah, do not be discouraged. And if you've had a good interview, you never know that, yeah, that company might then say, hey, we've opened the role again. Maybe you should think about applying. So hopefully after that point, you land a job. I think a lot of this can be applied to other industries as well. I mean, not everyone here is going to be looking for a role in esports or gaming, but the same kind of rules apply. If gaming and esports industry is your end goal, don't stress too much about it if you don't get that straight away. I did 6 years in traditional industries. Yeah, I was 28 by the time I landed my first esports job. So don't stress. If that's your goal, you'll get there eventually, I'm sure. And also, if you get a job in esports and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure whether this is the right job for me in terms of the role, you can always change. You're not stuck. If you go into marketing, you're not stuck in marketing forever. When I first started at NSE, I was doing community management and also like just general communications. I'm now working in partnerships. So, you know, hopefully you can gain a little bit of experience. And I was getting partnerships experience throughout the time I was doing that community management. So then when I did finally change last November, it was an easier transition. And also I'm lucky enough to work in a company that, you know, wants you to grow into what you want to do. And hopefully you'll be lucky enough as well to go into roles like that. So yeah, I think I've talked a little bit about my journey. So I graduated in 2014, a while ago now. And yeah, in graphic design, I was a full-time graphic designer for 5 years. I eventually didn't like that, changed over to marketing. I was doing marketing for property, not esports related at all. For about 3 of those years, though, I was volunteering my time to like Dota communities and getting a few freelance roles as well, doing social media management and things like that. That is what eventually led me to getting my job at NSE, because when I applied, I had loads of volunteer role. Even though I didn't have any full-time experience, I had a lot of things to pull my experience from. And yeah, I think that's about it. So, I mean, hopefully you all know who NSE are. We've got our tournaments. Sign-ups are closing in like a few days. I think Valorant closed yesterday. I'll also be sticking around here afterwards. If you have any questions, or if you're watching online, you can message me on Discord. I'll always try to reply. And yeah, thanks so much for having me, everyone.